well. There we go. It's all happening. Welcome to another episode, or should I say epic episode of the Speak to Sell show. And I'm going to share with you something very quickly. Life has happened like it does every day. And I've had to make some changes to the show. We're going to continue, but then the time is going to fluctuate depending on my availability. Unfortunately, I cannot clone myself. I'm working on it. It would be fantastic. Even my wife would enjoy it, if you know what I mean. But anyway, the show goes on quoting Freddie Mercury. And today we have got an incredible guest. I know, Jose, you always say the same thing because every time I bring someone to this place, to this show, they're special. They're special in their own way. They're special in terms of what they know, how they help people, which is very important for me. You know, how do you support other human beings to achieve their excellence? And today, I may make a mistake when I pronounce her surname, but we have Vickie Leuenberger. There we go. She may say yes, she may say no. And she is a human performance management coach. How was that, Vickie? I didn't read it. I know you were helping me, so I didn't read it in the end. Did I say it right? Yeah.
I think that was excellent. Congrats.
Okay, it was excellent. There we go. So congrats. Vickie, I'm going to pass on the mic to you.
Yeah.
And before that, to introduce yourself and everything else, today's session is all about everything that has to do with a nonverbal. We have a master here. Yes. She's going to take it away. She's going to intro herself, and I'm going to be asking her some questions. Then she's going to be sharing some incredible resources for you. And then I will invite you right away to connect with Vickie. Connect with Vickie as you're listening. I go, yeah, where's Vickie? So you go and connect. You carry on listening. You can pause this and enjoy. Vickie, over to you. The mic is yours.
Thank you. I think this is amazing because the show is called Speak to Sell Yourself. And today it's sell yourself without words, right? That's the direction in which we're going.
Love it.
Completely different. So some of you are probably wondering what the hell does human performance management coaching means. And that's very fair. Even I sometimes don't really understand what it means. It comes down to I'm a coach who works in multidisciplinary teams. So I join other businesses and I act as sort of client success or a mindset coach within that team. So I'm all about teamwork. I come from a background of sports coaching. I coached athletes all the way to international competitions. So obviously you have to communicate efficiently in situations like that, which is why I'm passionate about communication. And right now I work for very, very different companies. I work for a language school, and in the language school, I'm in charge of the client's mindset, efficient communication. I teach negotiation, how to do an elevator pitch, anything like that. And then I also work for a business accelerator where I'm more in charge of the mindset. And again, speaking to selling yourself, something like that. I'm also partnered up with a fitness company where I'm in charge again of the mindset of the clients. And I'm hosting retreats, entrepreneur retreats, fitness retreats, mindset retreats. So that's why I consider myself a camp counselor for adults.
Wow. What an intro. Yeah, it does summarize it. I mean, you do a lot. I was just trying to catch one and then elaborate on that, but it's just so many different things.
Yes.
Well done, you. Well, a very clever woman.
Clever, I don't know, but...
well, I mean... more clever than maybe, I don't know. Let's not compare. Let's not compare.
Everyone's magic in their own way.
What about the swimming that you do? And I think in the past you do, what do you call that kind of swimming? I don't remember the word in English now. There we go.
Yes. You can call it either artistic swimming or synchronized swimming.
Synchronized. That's the one that was coming to mind. Synchronized swimming as well. So are you still doing that?
Yeah. Well, I don't swim anymore. I retired. I hung up my swimsuit, but I still coach about 2 days a week in a club here in Canada. And in September, I'll be moving to the Caribbean, and I've already contacted clubs there. I know, what a life. I've already contacted clubs there so that I can help develop the sports in the Caribbean as well.
Vickie, okay, so can you take me there at some point? Whenever you have an opportunity, I'll do some communication, some public speaking. We can, take on the mindset together. I'm okay swimming. I won't drown. I miss that so much.
Are you seasick?
No, I guess. I mean, it depends. It depends on how long I'm going to be on
Because
sea.
if I
Because you're
have
going
to take my boat to go get you in England and take you back to the Caribbean, I really hope you're not seasick.
no. So this is what we're going to do. You let me know where you are. I jump on a plane, then I land.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then I can come back as well. I'm happy in the UK, believe it or not. I do miss the sun, but hey, okay, we'll talk about it later. People, okay, Jose,
Yes,
enough. It's important to have a bit of a chit chat as well every now and then. Otherwise, this is just
of course.
business every time. So let's talk about the non-verbal.
Yes.
So many questions come to mind. And the first one would be, I mean, is it possible not to communicate?
That's an excellent question. I love it. Personally, I don't think it's possible. I think it's impossible. I think as soon as you're in a room and there's another human, the two of you are communicating. Because even if you walk into the metro and I choose to cross my leg and turn my back, I'm sending you a message. And that's what communication is about, right? So whether we want it or not, we're constantly sending out messages into the world. So I don't think it's possible to not communicate.
There we go. So how important is that for then people to understand that you're communicating every time? So from the moment, if we're talking about speaking to sell or speaking or communicating, all of them, you walked into a place right away. It only takes seconds for people to create an impression of you. So how you gesture, how you walk, the stances, all of that is very important. But hey, I'm not going to take over this conversation because this is Vickie's time.
No, but that was great. That was great. And most of you have probably heard of that study from like the 1970s, or I think it was 1967, from Marian. I'm not the best at pronouncing.
Yeah, Moravian. Yeah, I keep on messing up his name.
Yes. So, it says that they tried to, because if you look more deeply into the study, you see it was not the most scientific thing done in the past 100 years. But what they demonstrated is that the impact of our communication is 7% verbal, so the words that we use, 38% paraverbal, and then 55% nonverbal. And personally, I don't think that's true, because let's say that Jose and I are dating and we go to bed at night and it's completely dark in the bedroom. Don't tell your wife. It's completely dark in the bedroom. We don't see each other at all. And I say, Jose, I can't do this anymore. It's over. Do you think that 55% of the impact of my communication was from my body language? No, he couldn't even see me. Right? So this fluctuates in time. It fluctuates on the context, on what is available in terms of information. So it's not true that it's 7%, 38%, 55%. And sometimes you're going to meet up with someone and they're going to say just no, just a signal of no with their head. They're not going to say a single word. So that's going to be 0% verbal, 100% nonverbal. So people need to understand that this moves in our interactions. And I think what this study brought that was good is just sort of an awareness that the body language has a bigger impact than what we think. So that's the thing that you need to remember from this study, is not the exact percentage, but is just remembering that your body language has an impact, and everything nonverbal around your communication has one as well.
Vickie, that is probably one of the best explanations I've heard around that. That provides real clarity. And then remember, people, what Vickie said, if you come across the study, think about the spectrum. It's not black or white. It's not just the specific percentages, because then she's got that example in which we're in bed. Jose, this is not going to work. That's the end of it, in which, yes, I'll be very sad, but then I haven't seen any of Vickie. That's a great example. But then you have the other example when, you're a speaker and you're on stage, and if you speak and just communicate through your words for an hour, and you don't change your tonality and you don't gesture accordingly and everything else, potentially people will leave after 5 minutes or less. So it's then being mindful of the context, the environment, contextual. Loved it, Vickie. People, you're taking great value away.
That's amazing. So, Jose, do you know what is the difference between the nonverbal and body language?
The difference between the nonverbal and the body language. Okay, I would probably say, well, You know what? I don't know, because I'm thinking of them as the same. What am I missing? Enlighten me, Vicky. I want to learn.
Okay. So the nonverbal is actually not something that's in the dictionary. It simply means anything that is not verbal. So I think I told you this before, but a water slide is nonverbal. A carrot is nonverbal. Your coffee is, or maybe it's tea. I don't know. You're in England. It's probably tea.
No, come on. But I'm Latin American. Coffee.
Coffee. There you go. So anything that isn't words becomes the nonverbal. Body language is just one of the 5 areas of the nonverbal. All right. So if you're down, I'd really like to go over those 5 areas. And if you're watching this, you might want to write this down. And next time you record a video or prepare for a conference, you might want to look that you've actually thought about planning or optimizing, not so much planning, maximizing the impact of those 5 areas.
Amazing. Take it away, Vicky. We're going to be looking at the 5 areas of nonverbal, because as you said, body language is one of them. You see?
Body language is only one of them. Can you believe it?
I do now.
All right. Can you tell I was an elementary school teacher? A little bit?
Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't remember my teachers very well. So it's one of those times in my life that, I've erased. Not all of them. I do remember some of them. I only remember the best ones, maybe 2 or 3.
There you go. There you go. Sometimes I'm talking and I can see myself just going back to like 5, take your pencil. And I was like, oh, you're doing it again.
Well, I like it. I mean, people, take your pencil, do something with this. Otherwise, why are you spending your time watching and listening? Well,
yes.
What's the point? Yeah, come on.
That's another thing. I find so many people listen to podcasts, read books, watch YouTube videos. They're in Facebook groups, but they don't do anything about it. They don't take any actions in their lives. So you can listen to me, but if you don't actually implement anything on your side, it's kind of pointless. So yeah, take action, everyone. Take action,
people. Take action.
All right. So the first area of the nonverbal is the Periverbal, right? Remember, this one was in the study from Marianne and Ferris, I think was the other researcher on this. So the Periverbal is anything related to the voice, all the characteristics related to the voice. So your tonality, your rhythm, right? You mentioned rhythm earlier. Your volume, if I'm speaking very loud or if I'm speaking very softly, the sentence stress, word stress, your accent, right? Anything related to your pronunciation. So this is all the Periverbal. So you've probably been in a situation where someone had such a thick accent that it took you a lot of energy to focus on what they were saying. That's probably has happened to you. Or again, like you said, someone giving a conference that was speaking always at the same rhythm, same tone, and didn't change any variations, no intonation, right? So this is one of the areas of the nonverbal that you want to master when you're communicating.
Are you saying that I have an accent and it's difficult to understand? Okay. Yeah, just making sure.
Yeah. The second area, if we can go this fast, right? Time is flying, is the periverbal. Periverbal. So that's anything related to your environment. So everything that's around you, and also the space between people. You know, those people who just come really, really close to your face, right? You know how that makes you feel. So there's a certain kind of like sweet spot in terms of distance that you want to look into, depending on what kind of conversation you want to have. So if you're giving a conference, it might be a different distance from when you're talking to your parents-in-law. Periverbal.
Periverbal. So the distance between people. Powerful.
And the environment. And the environment. So for example, if I'm going to dump my boyfriend, I don't know why this isn't.
Wow. I mean, you keep on going on about that.
I know.
mean, you dumped me, you dumped your boyfriend. I don't know who I was in that relationship anyway, but hey, okay. Wow.
I'm in a very happy relationship, but it's just the example that keeps coming up. I might not do it, at a concert. I might not bring him at like an electro fest, big music. It's over, right? I might choose a different environment. I might do this in private, in our apartment, at home, or in a park, right? I'm going to choose where. If I want to meet an employee to give him feedback, Maybe doing it in the cafeteria in front of everyone might not be the best use of this nonverbal.
Absolutely.
I might want to do it in my office, right? So periverbal.
Periverbal, number 2. Now number 3.
Number 3 is the supraverbal. So supraverbal are all the conscious nonverbal signs. Okay. Signs, symbols, anything related to brands. So let's say that you're having a business meeting with someone and they come out with a Gucci belt and an Yves Saint Laurent bag and some very, very nice Louboutin shoes. You might make an assumption about them that they have a lot of money, right? Those signs are going to affect your communication, the impression. So even you, or even me, for example, I have a diploma in the back. Unconsciously, when you saw me, you made an assumption that I went to university and that I graduated. You don't even know. Maybe this is a piece of paper I printed on Google, but people made an opinion about me in the first, you said it yourself, right? First impressions are crucial. Yeah.
So what are people going to say when they find this robot behind me? That I'm an engineer?
Ask the people in the chat. If you're watching this on Facebook, let us know. What does this tell you about Jose?
What does this give you as an impression of me? So what kind of thinking did it trigger? I had a happy childhood, or I'm traumatized? There we go. Okay, please, Vickie. Great point, by the way.
Yes. So the objects that we see in your video, the clothes that you're choosing to wear, the brands, all that is going to send signal to your audience. Do you have children? Is this really yours, or can you? Yeah.
No.
Can I ask this? Is this
yeah? You can ask. Let's just. I'm gonna edit this now. I'm gonna stop. Okay, done. No, I haven't got children. This is really mine, people. I mean, people who know me, they know what I'm like. And yes, this is really mine. I don't have many. I've got like 2. This one and another tiny GoBot from back in the 80s. This was my robot. I grew up watching this guy. And I don't know. I decided just to put it in the back because I guess it's kind of, additional energy, or my happy days in life. It's just a good memory. Times with my grandparents. Yeah. So Vickie, no, it is mine. I haven't got children.
Okay.
Not yet, anyway.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you're fun. There you go. That's what I'm interpreting from this. You're a fun person.
Yeah, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Sometimes I may not be that fun. That's a conversation to be had with my wife. If she listens to this, she may say to me.
I hope she doesn't, because I did dump you twice in this.
I've been dumped twice. There is a pattern. Okay, Vickie, over to you.
Thank you. So I said paraverbal, periverbal, supraverbal. We're at 3. We're moving on to my personal favorite, which is the infraverbal. Infraverbal, that's anything related to the neuroscience, right? So I'm an NLP practitioner, neuro-linguistics programming. So this part fascinates me. So that's sort of the mental context, the internal context that your audience is coming with in your conversation or in your speech, right? So these are the beliefs that your audience has. So I don't know, let's say I wanted to talk about the vaccine with certain members of my family. I would need to approach it differently depending on who I'm talking to, right? Because some people are very pro-vaccine, some people are very much against. It's okay. And, depending on what is your goal, it's really about going in the perception of the world, going in the reality of the person you're speaking to. Because a good communicator is that. A good communicator is someone who'll be flexible enough to adapt the conversation so that it's really well received by the other person.
Vickie, I'm loving this. So is this the area when we focus on building that rapport, being empathetic, putting yourself in the shoes of the other person, understanding the map of the world, all of that? Yeah. So then we actually adapt our communication accordingly.
Yes.
This is powerful. This is wow. I mean, yeah. Did you say this was probably your favorite?
Yes, infraverbal. That's my favorite.
Absolutely. I'm loving it already. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Everything related to neuroscience, everything that's happening in your client or employee or audience's brain. What are they coming with? right? I always say a good communicator is someone who will achieve two outcomes. He's going to get his message across, and he's going to get the emotional response that he desires from his audience. So let's say I'm giving feedback to an employee. If he knows exactly what he needs to change to be better, but feels like shit. I'm sorry, am I allowed to say that?
I'm editing it now. I'm stopping. Yeah,
okay.
we replay. Fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay, thank you. But he feels like shit, then I'm not a good communicator. And if he feels awesome after I spoke with him, but has no idea what to change, I'm also not a good communicator. So how can I make those two outcomes happen every time I'm communicating with a group? How can I make them get the emotional response that I want and get my message across? If I have those two things, I think I'm a good communicator.
I love that, Vickie. And can I ask you, because yeah, of course, that is the intention. But you know what it's like, and sometimes we don't deliver the two. Maybe the message gets delivered, but then the emotional, say, for example, you're letting someone go. It is very challenging. So what would be your recommendation? Imagine you saying, Jose, you have to go. And then I got the message, but even though you say all great things and, you know, you project my future and the opportunities, I'm still not feeling there yet. Mm-hmm. What would you say? In terms of the communicator, what could the communicator improve on? What could it do differently? Any thoughts on that, which I think would be very valuable?
I'm going to tell you a story.
Beautiful. Best way to illustrate.
Yeah, exactly. I was giving a training for summer camp counselors. It was a team of 40 summer camp counselors 2 summers ago. And they had like 3 coordinators, right, that were in charge. And I was there sort of just to give the training and give feedback and help out. And one night I received a lot of negative feedbacks from the counselors. So I go and talk to the coordinators because they are there with them the whole summer. I'm just there for 3 weekends and then I'm out. And the conversation was really difficult. Although my message was kind and filled with compassion and filled with, I'm just trying to help and give you information, the coordinator was in resistance. She was in resistance. She was resisting me. She was getting more and more and more and more angry. And all I was to do is trying to help. You know, I could have gone back to my bedroom and watched Netflix, but I was trying to make a difference here and I wasn't getting to her. And then I sat back, I put myself in her shoes and I'm like, you know, I don't like where this conversation is going. And she said, how did she say it? She said, I think you are closed. I think you are resisting. And I was like, wow, you know, I felt like she was, but in her perception of the world, I am. So I sat down, I showed her with my, you know, I try to really feel empathy and compassion. I said, okay, that's valid. Because if that's how she feels, it's valid, right? I said, that's valid. What do you need me to do? She said, can you just listen? And I said, yes, I can just listen. And then I listened to her for half an hour instead of delivering my message. If we go back and tie this to the infraverbal and to the neuroscience, the context didn't allow her to receive information. So why do I try to keep pushing for my message to get across? My message was not getting across. So I had to stop pushing, listen to her first for half an hour, and then I was able to deliver my message and get the emotional response I wanted.
I love that. Thank you very much, Vickie. Yeah, it makes great sense. And I'm sure there are different takeaways from that story as well, especially when it comes to the pushing. As communicators, we believe we're good when we are telling people and sharing and things like that. And we forget how powerful it is to just be present and listen to understand, which is what you did. Listen for half an hour to understand in order to be able to carry on with your message or what you were doing that day. And I like to see that as instead of the pushing, you're pulling people closer to you. You're getting to understand. Beautiful stuff. I don't know where I read this, but there was something, if the whole world began to listen, really to understand each other, we would be in a very different situation. Just listening, like I'm listening to you.
Yes.
It's not that complicated. It takes practice though. Yeah, but it can be done. It can be done. I'm loving this, Vickie. Thank you.
A sentence I absolutely love to tell myself is, this is not about me.
No.
When I see someone reacting, because often when we see someone reacting, we we want to take the fire down, and we're throwing hoses. See what I did there? Hoses. Okay. We're throwing hoses of water, buckets of water, and we just want that fire to stop. But the fire is not about you. It's not inside of you. Just let that fire burn and watch it as a spectator, especially like in close relationships that are very emotional, like with my boyfriend, with my partner. When I see emotion building up, or even emotion building up in myself. This is not about me. This is not me. This is not mine. It's his emotion. It's his reaction. I'm just here to listen, to welcome it. It doesn't have to burn me,
Yeah, powerful. Yes. And also having the ability, which is another thing we can all nurture, the ability to notice when our emotions are rising and then deciding to stop, deciding to take a deep breath, not to react, but actually to respond when the moment is right. There is a skill to this, but then it has changed my relationships and the feedback I take from clients as well, because I strongly believe that in order to improve, it is important to receive feedback and listen and apply what you receive, even if you don't like it. So listening is definitely key, but it can be painful sometimes.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I love it. Yes. Well, people, are you taking notes? I'm very curious. I want to hear from them, even if you reply to the email when you listen to this, or you get in touch with Vickie, you comment on Facebook, on YouTube. What are you taking away? What are you doing differently? Just an invitation for people to think, and then I'll pass on the mic to Vickie again. I'm loving this conversation.
Can you guess what is the 5th area of the nonverbal?
So we have, okay, 1 second. We have touched on everything that has to do with tonalities. And then we went into the environment and our person within that environment and how we dress and everything else. Then we touched on the 4th is everything to do. Is it the 3rd? Everything to do with the mind.
Yeah. The 4th one. Yeah. Is the infraverbal neuroscience.
Infraverbal. Exactly. So what is the, and then the 4th one is the one you share, or the 3rd? Yeah, I'm very confused now.
You want me to start again? Paraverbal, periverbal, supraverbal, infraverbal. Last one.
And then the last one, is it like the gestures and everything else? So
yeah, body language.
Physiology, like the proper body language. Yeah, the one.
The proper body language.
Okay, well, the proper or improper. The body language. Okay.
That's how this started. I asked you the difference between the nonverbal and the body language. So the body language is one of the 5 areas of the nonverbal, right?
Yeah, we have a teacher in the room. I'm feeling a bit like, oh, sorry, teacher, I didn't get the answer right. I got nervous and everything. My heart was rising. It's amazing how we're wired.
Yes, you did amazing. So body language is everything from your facial expressions to your posture to the movements that you're doing with your hands. And the study of body language is called synergology. I'm not a synergologist. There are about 300 of them in the world. Synergologist, I was trained by one. It was one of the most fascinating trainings I've done in my life. I definitely recommend it if you're into communication and nonverbal communication. Definitely look, there's something like that online or around you. What's interesting is that in body language, there are 3, what am I saying? 3, but I have 2 hands. I don't have 3 hands. There are 2 kind of movements, okay? So in terms of movements in your body, we have unconscious movements. So that's, for example, your digestion. So those movements we don't really look at because in communication, it's not subtle enough that someone can see that, oh, right now this person is digesting food, so I'm going to use this word instead of that word. No. Okay, so we don't really care about those unconscious movements. Then we have the semi-conscious movements. So this is, for example, I just noticed that I did this. I didn't decide to do this, or I didn't decide to look to the bottom left right now, but I can notice once I've done it that I did it. Does that make sense? Semi-conscious movements. And then we have the conscious movements. So that's when I'm showing you that I went fishing and that my fish was this big. That's a conscious movement. Make sense?
Making great sense. Perfect sense.
Awesome.
Yes.
Interesting question for you. I don't know how much time we have left, but
we're okay. We're okay. We're very good. Yes.
Should we control our body language?
Control it. Well, this is my version of it. This is what I always invite people to do, is to, when we're speaking, to gesture with purpose. That's what I always invite people to do. Gesture with purpose. Use your body language accordingly to illustrate the different points and create those images or pictures or movies in people's minds, yeah, in the mind of the audience. So that is what I usually say. The thing is, I don't like the word controlling as much as potentially managing, or as I said, using with purpose, using for a reason.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, yes, we have the ones that are unconscious, completely unconscious, that are not relevant, but then the semi-conscious ones, semi-conscious,
yeah,
which are the ones we tend to get when we ask for feedback or when we record ourselves. And, you know, I've noticed that sometimes I look up and down because I've got my cup of coffee here, and then it can be distracting. So I've given myself feedback on that semi-conscious, and now it's become conscious, and then I manage it differently. So yeah, but what is your take on that?
Well, personally, I don't think body language should be controlled. When it comes to conscious movements, like you said, using movements intentionally to give a frame, to paint a picture, that's okay. When it comes to semi-conscious movements, those should not be controlled, because people can see that it's fake. And you know, some people have received the advice to mimic the person you're talking to and do the same movements. You already have amazing neurons in your brain doing that for you. They're called mirror neurons. If you're truly listening with empathy to this person, you'll notice your body going in the same position as this person. It's magical, but don't try to fake empathy. People can feel it. So definitely don't do that. And don't try to control those semi-conscious movement. And if you do want to have better semi-conscious body language, you need to feel it in your gut. You want to look more confident, feel more confident. That's the way it works. You want to look like you have empathy and love for the other person, feel empathy and love inside of your body. It's going to naturally show in your semi-conscious movements. So I think it's really about doing the internal work, the work in the infraverbal area in the neuroscience, to feel confident on a stage or to feel confident on video and feel like the work you're doing has purpose and meaning. And that's going to show through your body language. You can't fake that.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's what I've got to say about that. Powerful. Yes, I do like saying powerful, because this is what I'm feeling in the words that come from Vickie. And I was about to share something related to it. Yes, I like to say, Vickie, yeah, is that a bit of salsa, merengue, or what's going on here? Anyway, it feels good. Communication starts from within, as I always like to say. Yeah. And the best thing when it comes to body language, I say use it with purpose. But the most powerful thing, paraphrasing in a way what Vickie said, is if you feel it, if you feel that connection with the audience, if you feel that excitement because you're there sharing your story, you know you're going to be impacting lives. I'm speaking about my environment, which is public speaking. I've got an audience in front of me and I'm delighted to be there. And I breathe in and I just feel all of this passion and the connection. Then everything flows around that, and it helps you with your memory as well, remembering your presentation, everything. There's that connectedness in the environment. And then you don't really need to be, oh, did I look there? Or I kind of did that. No, you can then work on the delivery, which is a thing in order to even expand your reach and the power of your delivery. But yes, incredible stuff. Yeah. Vickie, I'm loving all of that. So we've got those 5 elements, and I loved how you broke them down. I'm thinking. Yeah, it's good. So anything else you would like to share around this? Because I feel like, you know, it's been amazing, and I'm taking notes. I'm sure the audience will be like, wow, Jose, can Vickie come more often? And then I'll be, let me think about it.
I have tons of things to say. If anybody wants to chat about the nonverbal, definitely hit me up. I do want to talk about, maybe you've seen the TED Talk from Amy Cuddy about power posing.
Yeah, the power posing, yes.
Yeah, right? Because yes, body language can influence how you feel inside, right? Because I told you, you first need to feel it and then it's going to show. And then people often give me that example. What about Amy Cuddy? What about posture power posing? And the truth is that will work, but for a very short amount of time. So I can power pose before an exam. It's going to give me a 5 minute of Wonder Woman confidence. and then it's going to dissipate slowly if it doesn't get fueled from the inside. So yes, definitely use power posing. I'm definitely for it. My athletes, for example, in artistic swimming, a performance is 3 to 4 minutes. So doing power posing right before is good because that confidence will stay inside of them for the 3 or 4 minute performance. But if you're giving a 1 hour conference, just doing the power posing won't give you enough fuel to feel confident for the whole hour. So that's maybe one thing I wanted to say. Also, anything related to using synergology, so using the semi-conscious movements to understand the person you're speaking to. Yes, there's a science to it, but it's something that you can do just by paying attention. So you don't need to be an expert in synergology to know when a person is not interested when you're talking to them. You don't need that. All you need to do is build your sensory acuity. So being really try to notice, the color of the skin of the person is changing when you're talking to them, or you say something specific like, oh, this program is $10,000. And then they change the position in their chair. Like, I'm going to give you some synergology tips. This is, I'm trying to escape this conversation. I want to get out. I'm trying to get out. Whereas this is, I'm analyzing, is this possible? So when I'm in a sales call, this is how I use synergology. I'm going to drop the price. And depending on where the person goes in terms of chair positions, I'm going to know what to do. So if they go in analysis, I'm going to remain silent. And I'm just going to list to wait because I know their brain is just processing the price and how can I make this possible? And I might look what direction their eyes are going in. Are they going into their emotional world? Unless they have a cup of coffee, then that's irrelevant. But are they going into their emotional world or their cognitive world? Often I'm going to see a client in their cognitive future. Okay, how can I make this work? So I'm not going to ask more question or pressure them. I'm going to give them some time to process the information. But that's something you don't need to know all those specifics of up, down, right, left. What are they doing? Crossing their arms or not? It's just about paying attention and really being present and observing the person when they're talking. So yeah, I think that's what I'd like to add, maybe.
Wonderful. Yeah, maybe you said it. Fantastic. I would only add on top of it, curiosity. Be curious about the person you have in front of you. Be curious. And then when you're curious, you're going to connect because you want to know more. You're going to be asking good questions and respect for their opinion, respect the difference. I think it is key as well for great communicators. Respect the person you have in front of you. Vickie, what a session. It was definitely an episode. And now people have watched you, they listen to you and they want to know more. They want to connect with you. They want to see if they can download the 5 elements. No, the 5 elements. What do I say? The 5 elements, the 5
areas.
So we call them areas. If people want to access them, can they get in touch? Tell us, everything that's available for the community right now. And then we say goodbye.
Yeah, awesome. Before I do that, I'm just going to suggest some books, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Philippe Turchet. He's one of the most known synergologists in the world. So anything from him, any of his books are amazing if you're interested into semi-conscious movements, nonverbal, building empathy, building rapport. So definitely something you want to do. I told you I was NLP trained. This is probably one of the easiest NLP books if you're just starting out. So introducing NLP by who? Their names are not, there it is. Joseph O'Connor and John Seymour. So definitely a great introduction to NLP books. It also shows you those eye movements, cues I was telling you about. So is the person I'm talking to in their emotional world or cognitive world or remembering sound, remembering images. So that's something that can be good. Also anything from Chris Voss. Do you know Chris Voss? Chris Voss is a hostage negotiator.
Yes, gotcha. Yeah, that's the one, Never Split the Difference.
Yes, his book is Never Split the Difference. He also has an amazing masterclass on Masterclass that talks about negotiation. And I really love the way he uses his voice he calls it the late night DJ FM voice to kind of soothe the people he's talking to. It's just an amazing man, definitely about that curiosity you're talking about and gathering information from the person you're speaking to. So definitely something I would recommend. As of for me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. It's simply my name every time. So if you're able to spell my last name, which if you're able to find me after this, I'm going to be very impressed. Maybe we can tag my links or something somewhere.
Well, we will also type your full name in the description so people can actually see that. So we'll make sure that happens, Vickie, so people can connect you. Yeah, because if you ask me to remember your surname, I'm getting better now.
Yeah, you're getting better. Did you know that I once missed a flight because I miswrote my name when I booked my plane tickets?
There we go. So
yeah. So I understand if you have a hard time finding me, but really it's just my name. It's also my email address. So my full name, Vickie Leuenberger @gmail.com. It's another way that you can find me. I also have a podcast on. I keep hitting on this and you're probably hearing the sound. I also have a podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's called Aim for More. It's very short, 5 to 7 minute episodes. I'm dropping a truth bomb and giving you some homework, and then I'm leaving. So that's another thing that you can look into. And of course, if you want those 5 areas, I have a small worksheet and I can send that to you as well if you send me a message.
Beautiful stuff. Vickie, thank you so much. It's been amazing. I don't want to stop the call, but I'm mindful of the time as well. Yes. And people's attention span, which I know you can stretch them if you want to. So listen, re-listen, get in touch with Vickie, apply what you've learned today, revisit this a few times because there is incredible value. Why not buy the books? Look them up, Audible, all of the above, and carry on speaking your greatness. Vickie, thank you so much. People, see you all very soon.